Dear students, I, Mr. Vishal Shah, Assistant Professor, Krishna Institute of Pharmacy, Karad, once again welcome you all to this session on the fluorimetry. In previous video, we have seen about the introductory part as well as the principle and the factors that are affecting the fluorescence. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the instrumentation part, that is the Flourimeter, how the construction and working of Flourimeter is carried out. So, in this video we will discuss the instrumentation part, and in another video we will discuss about the applications and the quenching of fluorescence, this part related to the Flourimetry. If you are coming first time to this my YouTube channel, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like the content, share and subscribe to your friends also. Now, before starting this our today's session, first we will see what are the learning outcomes of this session. After this session, students will be able to explain instrumentation of Flourimeter. Now, let's start with the what is the instrumentation of the Flourimeter. Now, instrumentation of Flourimeter is somewhat similar to the UV visible spectroscopy. There are few changes are there. The first point or the part of the instrument of Flourimeter is a light source, because we know that in the Flourimetry or in the fluorescence, what happens? Light is absorbed by our sample. After absorbing the light from ground state, the molecules that are present in the sample, they will go to the excited state, and while coming from excited to the ground state, they will emit certain amount of energy, that is the light, and that light is detected by our detector. So here light source that is used, which will emit the light in the range of UV radiation as well as the visible radiation. In this way they will emit the light. This particular light is now passed through our monochromator system, or you can say filter. Now, there are two different types of the filters are used in the Flourimeter. One is the primary filter and second one is the secondary filter. Now, primary filters are used which will absorb the visible radiations, and they will emit only UV radiation, because our sample will absorb the UV radiations only, and due to which it is necessary to remove the visible radiations that are emitted from the light source. Also, this particular system is consisting of a condensing lens. The role of this condensing lens is they will carry out the radiation source. The collection of radiation source is carried out by using this particular lens. They will focus the radiations that are coming from the light source to the primary filter. After this, radiations that are coming from primary filter, which are the UV radiations only, they will go to the sample holder. Now, sample will carry out the absorption of the radiations. Now, what happens? Whatever the light that is falling on the surface of the sample, some amount of light is absorbed by your molecules and some amount of light is transmitted. Now, here you can see some amount of light gets transmitted, and here what happens? The detector is placed at the 90 degrees of your sample. Why? Because if this transmitted light is measured by the detector, then it leads into the faulty results, and to avoid this, we are going to place this particular detector at the 90 degrees. So, the radiations that are absorbed, after that the molecule will go to the excited state, and while coming from excited to the ground state, that will emit the again energy or light is emitted, and that light is in the range of the visible radiations. Also, after this, these radiations will go to the secondary filter. Now, the role of secondary filter is that they will absorb the UV radiations. Now, you can see the difference between the primary filter and the secondary filter. Primary filter will absorb the visible radiations and secondary filters will absorb the UV radiations, because we know that fluorescence is nothing but our radiations that are emitted that are in the range of the visible region, and these radiations that are emitted in the visible region, they will reach to the detector. Generally, photomultiplier tubes are used in the Fluorimeter, because they are more sensitive, they are more accurate, and due to which the photomultiplier tubes are used as a detector in that particular instrument. So this is about the construction as well as the working of this particular fluorimeter. So fluorimeters are consisting of, you can say, 4 components. First component one is light source, then you can say second component monochromators, filters, then sample holders and the detectors. Let's see these different parts one by one. Now there are different types of the light source that are used, mainly mercury arc lamp, which is the most widely used light source in the fluorimeter. Now it produces intense line spectrum above 350 nanometer. This high pressure lamp gives lines at 366, 405, 436, 546, 577, 691 and 734 nanometer. Means whatever the spectrum that is obtained by using this mercury lamp, it is in the range of UV radiation as well as the visible radiation. Low pressure lamp gives additional radiations at the 254 nanometers. Means we know in case of UV visible spectroscopy also we have discussed what is the meaning of mercury arc lamp. Similar type of the lamp is used over here. It gives both UV as well as the visible spectra. It can be used at high pressure as well as it can be used at the low pressure. After this, another light source that is used in the fluorimeter is xenon arc lamp. This is intense as compared to the mercury arc lamp. Then intense radiations by passage of current through the atmosphere of the xenon, because here xenon, that is the inert gas, is used, and that's why intensity of that particular this lamp is increased. Spectrum is continuous over the range between the 250 to 600 nanometer. Now here you can see this particular lamp will give spectrum at only 366, 405 in this range, while this particular lamp will give the continuous spectrum in the range of the 250 to 600 nanometer, and peak intensity is observed at the 470 nanometer. So this is about the xenon arc lamp that is used. After that, third lamp that is used as a light source in the fluorimetry is tungsten lamp. This is very lessly used because intensity of lamp is low. Also, if excitation is done in the visible region, this lamp is used. Generally, when we are going to carry out the excitation in the UV region, this lamp is not used. It does not offer the UV radiations. Now, whenever the low cost instrument is prepared, in that case these particular tungsten lamps are used. So these are the various lamps that are used in the fluorimeters. Then second type is monochromators and filters. Now the monochromators are generally used in the spectroflourimeters. There is a difference between the fluorimeters and spectroflourimeters. Spectroflourimeters, as they are consisting of monochromators, the accuracy precision of these instruments is more. Now there are two different types of monochromators are used. Excitation monochromators, that is used to carry out the isolation only in the radiation which is absorbed by the molecule, while emission monochromators that are used, they isolates only radiations that are emitted by the molecule. Means excitation monochromators will isolate only radiations which are absorbed, and emission monochromators will carry out the isolation of radiations which are emitted by the molecule. Also, we have already seen that there are two different types of the filters are used. One is primary filter, which absorb visible light and it will transmit the UV light, and secondary filter that is used, which will absorb the UV radiations and it will transmit the visible light. So these are the various monochromators and filters that are used. As I said, monochromators are used in the spectroflourimeters and filters are used in the fluorimeters. Next component that is used is sample cells. They are used to hold the sample. Generally, sample cells are made up of glass or the quartz. Now, they are generally cylindrical or rectangular cells that are fabricated of silica and glass are used. The path length of these particular sample cells is generally 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter. The silica or the glass, silica is generally having high cost. Also quartz is also used to carry out the fabrication of these particular sample cells. All the surface of the sample holders are polished in the fluorimetry, means the cuvettes that are used in the UV visible spectroscopy are not used in the fluorimetry, because the polishing of that particular surface is necessary. Then next component that is used in the instrument is the detectors. They are the heart of the particular instrument, because they are used to detect the radiations that are emitted from that particular sample. Now these detectors include barrier layer cell, which are also known as the photovoltaic cell, then phototubes and photomultiplier tubes. These are the most widely used detectors, that is the photomultiplier tubes. Photomultiplier tubes, these are the most widely used detectors in the fluorimeters. Now we have already seen these detectors in the UV visible spectroscopy. Same type of the detectors are used in the fluorimeters also. Let's see this one by one. First type of detector that is used is a barrier layer cell, which is also known as the photovoltaic cell. Now we know that these barrier layer cells are consisting of 3 metal layers. This first one is metal base, that is made up of the iron, then semiconductor layer, that is made up of the selenium, and third layer is the made up of the either silver or the gold. Then second type of the detector that is used is photocell. Now this is the typical diagram which shows this particular photocell, how it works. Now this is the high sensitivity cathode that is available in the cylindrical form of metal present in the evacuated glass tube. Here, to increase the surface area of this particular cathode, this particular electrode is made up of in the cylindrical form. Whatever the light that is falling on the surface of the cathode will generate the electrons, and these electrons that are generated, they will be attracted towards this particular anode. In this way, the generated electrons, number of electrons that are generated will depend upon the amount of light that is falling on the surface of the cathode. Anode that is present in the tube, which is fixed along the axis of the tube. Also, inside surface of this photocell is coated with the light sensitive layer. To increase the production of the electron, this is coated with the light sensitive layer. So this is about the photocell. As I told, most widely used type of the detector is photomultiplier tube. It is a combination of photodiode as well as the electron multiplying amplifier. These photomultiplier tubes are consisting of one cathode, one anode, and along with these there are also presence of the dinodes. These dinodes are nothing but the electrons which are kept at the higher potential as compared to the one that is present earlier. Now what is the role of this dinode? Now here the cathode is used in such a way that if a single light falls on the surface of this particular cathode, it will be going towards the dinode, and when it fall on the surface of the dinode, a single light will carry out the production of 2 to 5 radiations extra, so that a second dinode which will attract these radiations or electrons. Now these electrons that are produced 2 to 5 times more, which leads into the generation of the more number of electrons. In this way amplification is carried out. So it consisting of one photocathode and 8 to 10 dinodes. Now the surface of dinode is made up of generally of metals like Be, Cu, Cs or Sb. When radiations fall on the surface of the cathode, electrons are emitted, and these emitted electrons are attracted towards the dinode and they emit more number of electrons. In this way, as amplification is carried out, these are the most widely used detectors. So this is about the instrument that is used in the UV in the fluorimetry. So this is the question that you have to answer by using this particular code. Thank you very much.